Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Thank you for listening to the GSMc Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMc Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music. Now let's get into some music news. Though the iHeartRadio Music Awards couldn't take place as planned on Sunday, some of music's biggest names came together for a star-studded evening. An hour-long special titled iHeartRadio's Living Room Concert for America was hosted by Elton John and featured performances from the Backstreet Boys, Mariah Carey, Demi Lovato, Alicia Keys, and more. And apparently, because I didn't see the awards, but the Backstreet Boys, they were all individually at their own homes, and they were nailing them harmonies from their respective homes. Just like if you've seen that viral video, that viral video is so dope. All of them at their house just singing. Yeah, it's dope. Look it up if you haven't seen it. So I imagine it was similar to the iHeartRadio thing. But the best part is that the special raised $8 million to battle the coronavirus. Now, again, I hate reporting sad news, but at least this isn't related to the coronavirus. It's just sad. Bill Withers, the singer-songwriter whose soulful hits Lean on Me, Ain't No Sunshine, and Lovely Day became part of the soundtrack for a generation, has died. He was 81 years old. He died Monday in Los Angeles of heart complications, according to his father, or to his family. A statement says, "We are devastated by the loss of our beloved, devoted husband and father, a solitary man with a heart driven to connect to the world at large. With his poetry and music, he spoke honestly to people and connected them to each other. As private a life as he lived, close to intimate family and friends, his music forever belongs to the world. In this difficult time, we pray his music offers comfort and entertainment as fans hold tight to loved ones." Now, his songs have been considered timeless, and Lean on Me has experienced a resurgence during the coronavirus pandemic because of its uplifting message of community support. We have another passing, unfortunately. Spanish singer-songwriter Luis Eduardo Aute, A-U-T-E, sorry. Not familiar with him, so not familiar with how to pronounce his name. But whose politically charged songs became popular during Spain's transition from dictatorship to democracy, died Saturday at the age of 76. The Spanish General Society of Authors and Publishers said that he died in Madrid after a recent decline in health. He suffered from a serious stroke in 2016 and never recovered fully. His biggest hit was the song Al Alba, which translates to At Dawn, a homage to the victims of the repression carried out during the decade-long authoritarian rule of General Francisco Franco. The singer-songwriter released over 30 albums. In addition to music, he was also an accomplished painter, sculptor, and film director. All right, back to some kind of nonsense news. Just some pettiness, but here we go. Drake's fans have been dying to see his son Adonis since the rapper revealed he has a child in his Scorpion track Emotionless in 2018, and they finally got their wish on Monday. Drake took to Instagram and shared some pictures of his adorable boy with his curly blonde locks and big blue eyes. Adonis's mother is French model Sophie Brussaux. Brussaux. They shared a handful of other precious shots and even joking that Adonis's parents are really blonde. which she is a brunette, and then y'all know Drake. So they got this blonde boy with these big blue eyes. I don't even think she has blue eyes. But yeah, check out his page or her page if you really want to see this baby. After Roddy Ricch reigned over the Hot 100 for 11 weeks straight with his smash The Box, The Weeknd proved to be one who could take him down. The singer's Blinding Lights hit number 1 thanks in part to The Weeknd's album After Hours being released on March 20th, along with his latest Hot 100 feat. The Weeknd made history topping the Billboard 200, Billboard Hot 100, Billboard Artist 100, Hot 100 Songwriters and Hot 100 Producers charts simultaneously, becoming the first artist to do so. He says it feels like a huge blessing. While a global pandemic certainly isn't funny, some have found ways to make light of the world's current situation. But a man named Adrian Grimes may take the cake. He turned Queen's iconic Bohemian Rhapsody into the coronavirus Rhapsody. Have y'all seen it? I saw it. Which he transforms the song's real lyrics into all too real coronavirus related lines. For example, the opening is now, "Is this a fever? Is this just allergies?" That are so genius you may laugh your way through the rest of the quarantine. But what's cool about it is it's not like just him singing. It's like he does all the harmonies, all the different parts. So it starts off with him, and then like another box pops up with another, version of him singing another line. And then by the end it's just hella titles, like box titles with him all over it. So it's one of those type of videos. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's worth a watch. A few days after John Prine's family announced on social media that the country legend had been hospitalized after sudden onset of COVID-19, Sunday, his wife updated that he is stable on Monday, and Stephen Colbert paid tribute to his friend with a duet they filmed back in 2016. The pair sang Prine's classic "That's the Way the World Goes Around" at the Ed Sullivan Theater, but the segment never aired on The Late Show. In a heartfelt message introducing the clip, Colbert called the performance one of the happiest moments I've ever had on my show or any show, which was fully apparent while they sang. So you can check that out. Look it up on the interwebs. Justin Bieber has been on Instagram Live a lot while social distancing with his wife, Hailey Bieber, which has resulted in some unexpected chats. One of the most endearing was his chat with 51st Date star Drew Barrymore. That was not how I would label Drew Barrymore as 51st Dates. She was way famous before any of that. Let's say E.T., Never Been Kissed. There's all kinds of stuff. But anyways, so I guess that happened last Tuesday, and their conversation quickly turned into a gush fest. Barrymore complimented Bieber's Drew House clothing line. "It's so cool and optimistic, and I'm so honored to be a part of it," she said. Some of the pieces even have her face on it. And Bieber told Barrymore he'd been revisiting classic films, which Barrymore was a child star, including E.T. "You're the best," Bieber told her. All right. That is the cool thing about these IG live stories, how a lot of artists are talking to other artists, and it's we just get a sneak peek into their conversations like we're a fly on a wall. So that's pretty dope. Now, nearly 11 years after Beyonce delivered one of her most iconic hits to date with Halo, the evocative video for her heartbreaking ballad hit 1 billion views on YouTube. It took 11 years, but she hit 1 billion. Believe it or not, the video marks Beyonce's first to cross the billion mark. Yeah, I would have assumed that happened already. Okay. Her next most watched is Single Ladies, which has 750 million views. One of Latin music's favorite couples, Karol G and Anuel AA. Not a Latin music listener, so don't know them, but they're social distancing together, and luckily for fans, that resulted in a new song. On Wednesday, the pair released their new song, Follow, a smooth fusion of reggae and urban melodies about two people playing hard to get. But the video was shot entirely in their home together, so kind of hard to play, hard to get, because they made it themselves, the video, which is cute. So yeah, it's a homemade video that they dropped. It shows their lavish quarantine quarters where they've taken bubble baths, played Jenga, and shared sweet kisses. So it just looks like a home video with a song over it. I didn't realize that they were playing Hard to Get in the video because they're in the same quarters. Anyways, it's cute though. With just about every festival postponed or canceled for the foreseeable future, several artists have come together to bring the uncanceled music festival straight to folks at home. The virtual event took place on Thursday afternoon, April 2nd, and featured live stream performances from Colby Collette, Emily Kinney, Josh Radnor, and Betty Who. The virtual live concert platform Straight It hosted the festival, teaming with independently owned venues across the country to curate stage lineups. A portion of the proceeds from Pay What You Want tickets for each stage were donated to the Recording Academy's Emergency Financial Assistance Program, Music Cares COVID-19 Relief Fund. Now, Dolly Parton is the subject of A&E's upcoming biography, Dolly. Dolly premieres April 12th at 8 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time on A&E. It explores the life and career of Parton. The special traces the singer's journey from her childhood and early days in Nashville to her multiple hit songs and recent 50th anniversary celebration at the Grand Ole Opry. I'm really excited about that. I love me some Dolly Parton. I have since I was a kid. I have no idea why I was so in love with her as a kid, but I mean, it's Dolly. She just has like that. She has that it factor, that magicalness about her that just transcends generations and cultures and socioeconomic lines. She's Dolly. Katy Perry shared the sex of her and Orlando Bloom's baby. I'm so behind times. I didn't even know that Orlando Bloom was a baby daddy. I didn't even know Orlando Bloom was still relevant. I guess he is now. But with a sweet snapshot from their gender reveal celebration late Friday night. In the photo, Perry's fiance and the dad-to-be of Baby Cat is all smiles. Okay, how about we say Orlando Bloom? I know him as his own entity, not Baby Cat's dad or Perry's fiance. He was famous before she was. Anyway, so Orlando Bloom's face is completely and totally covered in smears of pink frosting, and the caption, "It's a girl," is below it. So the Instagram post quickly got over 2 million likes, and a few famous friends, including Dua Lipa, Rita Ora, and Zoe Saldana, hopped in the comments and congratulate Perry and Bloom. Okay. Now this kind of hits hard. It's daggone COVID-19. Pink. That's my girl Pink. Pink has revealed that she tested positive for COVID-19. But the cool thing is, she says, 2 weeks ago, my 3-year-old son, Jameson, and I were showing symptoms of COVID-19. Fortunately, our primary care physician had access to tests, and I tested positive. She wrote in a post that went up on both Twitter and Instagram on Friday night. My family was already sheltering at home and continued to do so for the last 2 weeks following the instruction of our doctor. Just a few days ago, we were retested and are now thankfully negative. She announced that she is making a sizable donation of $1 million to support healthcare workers on the front lines. She says, "I'm donating $500,000 to the Temple University Hospital Emergency Fund in Philadelphia in honor of my mother, Judy Moore, who worked there for 18 years in the Cardiomyopathy and Heart Transplant Center. Additionally, I am donating $500,000 to the City of Los Angeles Mayor's Emergency COVID-19 Crisis Fund. Thank you all to all of our healthcare professionals and everyone in the world who are working so hard to protect our loved ones. You are our heroes. These next 2 weeks are crucial. Please stay home. Please stay home." On that note, I hope you're staying home, and we'll take a break and return with music news.
always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMc Music Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. Now it's time for new releases. Rod Wave, Pray for Love. Thundercat, It Is What It Is. Future, Beast Mode. All Time Low, Wake Up, Sunshine. It's All Time Low, and the album is Wake Up, Sunshine. Sam Hunt, Southside. Ashley McBride, Never Will. I do not know how to say this. Yves Tumor, Yves, Tumor, Tumor. Heaven to a Tortured Mind. Okay, I only recognize Future. This is only in person, and I'm not a huge Future fan, so I won't be downloading that. Hot new singles: Drake, Tootsie Slide, Frank Ocean with Dear April, and Cayendo. I know that's a big deal. Frank Ocean is like a big deal to a lot of people. Thomas Rhett, Be a Light, featuring Reba McEntire, Hillary Scott, Chris Tomlin, and Keith Urban. And then Sam Hunt, 2016. Now on to tours and festival news. Here is what has newly been canceled. We'll start with the bad news first, and then we'll move on to some good news. So, newly canceled. Niall Horan announced his world tour postponement with a heartbreaking message on social media. He says, this was a difficult decision, but the well-being of my fans and my touring family is always my priority. I mean, at this point, is it really a decision? Like, can't you just not tour? Like, the concert venues aren't open. Like, people aren't going to be showing up. So really, at this point, is there a decision? Like, why won't people just say that they're postponing or they're canceling? And not being like, oh, well, I have to put my band. I mean, it's all good, but that was like more believable like a month ago. At this point, you have no choice. Anyways, James Taylor and his all-star band with special guests Jackson Brown have postponed their upcoming tour. New dates will be announced soon. As this summer's tour of 27 towns and cities across the U.S. drew near, we've been increasingly excited to hit the road again. So it's deeply disappointing for both of us to have to call it off and reschedule. See, at least they kept it real. They have to call it off and reschedule. And they will reschedule. As we all now realize, COVID-19 is a serious, real, and present danger. Moreover, our public health is all of our responsibility. So let us listen to and follow the direction of our public health care people and support their efforts in this unprecedented time of global pandemic. Love those around you, and above all, stay safe and stay healthy. And they should have added, keep you behind at home. So Justin Bieber announced the postponements of his 2020 Changes Tour, which was slated to run May 14th through September 26th. I'm not going to read all of these statements because what's the point? We know what they say. Michael Bublé postponed several May dates of his An Evening with Michael Bublé tour. Modern English postponed their 40th anniversary tour of North America. And on the upside, here are upcoming live stream performances for the month of April. April 29th, we have the Grammy Museum is releasing its digital public program with Brett Young. April 27th, there are Grammy Museums doing another digital public program with Sabrina Carpenter. The 25th, they're doing another with Ben Platt. The 22nd with Courtney Barnett. The 20th with Richard Marx. The 18th, Los Tigres. April 17th, the Los Angeles-based indie rocker Sure. They will invite people inside their shared abode at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for their home tour. April 16th, Los Angeles-based indie... Oh, I guess they're doing it twice. Okay. the Sure again on the 17th and 16th. April 15th, the Grammy Museum again with Alice Merton. April 14th, that's the Sure again. April 13th, it's rapper Common. April 12th, the Sure again. They're killing it, the Sure. And for information, I would go to the Grammy site or check out Billboard. It has all the links on Billboard as well. April 11th, Facebook Live will be hosting Human to Human, a benefit event from noon to midnight Eastern Standard Time. Confirmed performances include Alec Benjamin, Andrew McCon, Butch Walker, Group Love, Hunter Hayes, Jensen McRae, Jewel, Lauren Daigle, Lucy Silvas, Nicholas Pedraca, Sam Nilsson Harris, Skylar Gray, Tim McGrath, Tori Kelly, and more. I only recognize a handful of those names. But the proceeds from the event will benefit Plus One's COVID-19 Relief Fund, working in conjunction with Music Cares and Sweet Relief. Viewers will be able to contribute via Facebook's donate feature or by texting +1H2H to the number 50155. And the Grammy Museum is releasing its digital public program with Tiana Tucker, Brandy Charlie, and Shooter Jennings on that same date of April 11th. April 10th, Coachella's 20 Years in the Desert, the documentary about the annual music festival, hits streaming services on the date it was originally supposed to open. Overcoats JJ and Hannah are hosting an IG Live series Friday Night Fights, where they perform songs, host game shows, and more in lieu of their planned spring tour. Los Angeles-based indie rockers Sure invite people inside their home on that. The Sure is killing it on April 10th. Like, all of these are the Sure. Freedom Fly will be hosting a Homechella at 8:30 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, to preview new songs from their album live in their studio. Again, this is all on April 10th. April 8th, we have the Grammy Museum with Andrea Bocelli, Matteo Bocelli, and Bob Ezrin. April 7th, Carly Pierce will go live on YGTY's Instagram account at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And April 6th, Broadway.com will live stream a reading by Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Celia Keenan Bogler, Zachary Quinto, and Ari Grainer of the late Terrence McNally's acclaimed 1991 play Lips Together, Teeth Apart, to benefit Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS COVID-19 Emergency Assistance Fund. The live stream will be dedicated to McNally, who died on March 24th of COVID-19 complications. There's a link on Billboard to where you can watch it at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on that same day, April 6th, the Grammy Museum will be doing another thing with Kool and the Gang. Oh, gosh. Okay, that's a lot. What have I been jamming? Actually been kind of stuck on the stuff that I said I was jamming last week. But I've been spending a lot of time with Joyner Lucas's ADHD. Apparently this is his first album. Everything else was, I guess, mixtapes, or either if this isn't his first album, people were just waiting hella long for this album. Either way, it's the first project of his that I've ever listened to in its entirety. I've heard songs of his in the past, which were dope. Like when he released that Devil's Work video a year ago, that's really when I started paying more attention to him. And then of course, cause he was on like some Eminem tracks, that's really when I first heard about him. But ADHD is dope. Like, this is just a solid album from start to finish, with its screening evaluation skit, which is creepy as hell. It's like, it's young Joyner, like 8 or 10 years old, with this creepy guy who's evaluating him for ADHD. And the dude sounds all like nice, calm, and pleasant. And then he just switches and turns hella freaking psycho. So the actor who voiced that dude, props to you, because that was hella creepy. And then it goes right into the intro, I Lied, which is just super dope. ISIS with Logic is dope. I mean, everything is good. He has skits, basically, it's like telephone calls, voicemails from Chris Tucker and Kevin Hart, which just shows you, I guess, just really just name dropping, but just like clout. It just gives them clout that like these dope, legendary like comedians, like they're on his team, and looking forward to hearing his music. He does have amazing videos too, like the Devil's Work video, the Revenge video. That video is dope. Will, which is a song all about Will Smith. And then he has like, basically he's playing all different Will Smith characters. This album, like, there really isn't a song on here that I don't like. 10 Bands with Timberland, I was really feeling. Still Can't Love. Like, it's just, there's 18 tracks. It's exactly 1 hour long. It's been good enough that I've been listening to it over and over, and I haven't really listened to anything else. So, yeah, that's what I've been jamming. On that note, we'll take a break and we'll return with, return with music history with Bill Withers. Y'all should have already known that. I always feature people. If they die, I'm going to feature them. So that's what we're going to do when we return.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMc Music Podcast. Now let's get into music history with Bill Withers, according to allmusic.com. So songwriter, singer, guitarist Bill Withers is best remembered for the classics Lean On Me, his other million-selling singles Ain't No Sunshine and Use Me, but he has a sizable cache of great songs to his credit. I just lean on me when you're not strong. It ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Yeah, he has some jams. But Al Jarreau recorded an entire CD of Withers songs on tribute to Bill Withers, Culture Press 1998. His popular radio aired LP track from Still Bill, Who Is He and What Is He to You, was a 1974 R&B hit for Creative Source. Born July 4th, 1938 in Slab Fork, West Virginia. Well, never heard of that city. Withers was the youngest of 6 children. His father died when he was a child, and he was raised by his mother and grandmother. After a 9-year stint in the Navy, Withers moved to Los Angeles to pursue a music career in 1967. He recorded demos at night while working at the Boeing aircraft company, where he made toilet seats. His recording career began after being introduced to Clarence Avant, president of Seuss's Records. Okay, that's right. And if you don't know who Clarence is, there's a documentary on Netflix called The Black Godfather. I had no idea who he was until I watched that documentary, but he is literally, he's connected to everyone, not just in the music industry, politically. Like, if you wanted something to happen or needed something to happen or conversations to be had, you went to Clarence. Like, he is behind everything from Michael Jackson's, what was it, Off the Wall tour. Like, it's so ridiculous. But I do remember his connection with Bill Withers in that documentary. I highly recommend, as you're staying at home, if you like documentaries or you just love music, and just as a fan of music history, watch The Black Godfather. Anyways, so yeah, Withers began his career because of Clarence. All right. So, Booker T. Jones produced his debut album, Just As I Am, with some co-production by Al Jackson Jr., which included his first charting single, Ain't No Sunshine, that went gold and made it to number 6 R&B and number 3 pop in summer 1971, and won a Grammy for Best R&B Song. Its follow-up, Grandma's Hands. Oh, I didn't know that was him. That song reminds me of my grandma. Peaked at number 18 R&B in the fall of 1971. The song was later covered by the Staple Singers and received airplay as a track from their 1973 Stax LP, Be What You Are. Yeah, that Grandma's Hands, though. My grandma died in the year 2000, and that song just really reminded me of her. He also wrote Lean on Me based on his experience growing up in West Virginia coal mining town. Times were hard, and when a neighbor needed something beyond their means, the rest of the community would chip in and help. He came up with the chord progression while noodling around on his new Walter electric piano. The sound of the chords reminded Withers of the hymns that he heard at church while he was growing up. On the session for Lean on Me, members of the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band, Express Yourself, Loveland were used. Drummer James Gadsden, keyboardist Ray Jackson, guitarist Benoris Blackman co-wrote with Withers The Best You Can for Making Music. And bassist Melvin Dunlop, his second gold single, Lean on Me, landed at number 1 R&B and number 1 pop for 3 weeks on Billboard charts in summer 1972. It was included on his Still Bill album, which went gold, holding the number 1 R&B spot for 6 weeks and hitting the number 4 pop in spring 1972. Lean on Me has become a standard with hit covers by the UK rock band Mud and Club Nouveau. Lean on Me was also the title theme of a 1989 movie starring Morgan Freeman. Yes. Still Bill also included Use Me, gold number 2 R&B for 2 weeks and number 2 pop for 2 weeks in the fall of 1972. Withers' Sussex catalog also included Bill Withers Live at Carnegie Hall, Justments, and The Best of Bill Withers. Withers contributed Better Days to the soundtrack of Bill Cosby's 1971 Western Man and a Boy, released on Sussex. There was a duet single with Bobby Womack on United Artists' It's All Over Now from summer 1975. I don't know that. I'm going to have to look that up. Bobby Womack and Withers? That sounds dope. After a legal battle with Sussex, Withers signed with Columbia Records. Columbia later bought his Sussex masters. When the label went out of business, Withers was briefly married to actress Denise Nichols, ABC's TV's Room 222, and 1972 horror film Blackula. Don't know who she is, but okay. Blackula, I know that was a black exploit film, so I'm sure my dad seen it. That was in the early 1970s. His release on Columbia were Making Music, Make Love to Your Mind. It was number 10 on the R&B chart, which hit number 7 R&B in late 1975. That makes absolutely no sense. But Naked and Warm, Menagerie, Lovely Day, a number 6 R&B hit, which went gold in 1977, and Bout Love from spring 1979. Teaming with Elektra Records, artist Grover Washington Jr., Withers sang the crystalline ballad Just the Two of Us. Oh, just us, the two of us. Okay, I didn't realize that was him. Written by Withers, Ralph McDonald, and William Salter. It went to number 3 R&B and held the number 2 pop spot for 3 weeks in early 1981. Just the Two of Us was redone with a hilarious effect in the Mike Myers movie Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, released in the summer of 1989. Also, Will Smith did the song as well. Withers teamed with McDonald and McDonald's Polydor single In the Name of Love in summer 1984. Withers' last charting LP was Watching You, Watching Me, so Watching You, Watching Me, in the spring of 1985. So stalkers watching stalkers. He occasionally did dates with Grover Washington Jr. during the 90s. His songs and recordings have been used as both the source of numerous covers, Aaron Neville's Use Me, and sampled by a multitude of hip-hop rap groups. Withers resurfaced in the 21st century, playing concerts and having his albums reissued in various countries. He is also the subject of the 2010 documentary Still Bill by filmmakers Damney Baker and Alec Black. I have to look that up, Still Bill. Besides those hit songs that I sang, because clearly I knew them, I really didn't know much about Bill. And besides what I learned in the Black Godfather documentary. So this was a good history lesson for me. I hope it was for you. Rest in peace, sir. And thank you for your musical contributions, because those are definitely going to live on forever. I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to the GSMc Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMc Podcast Network. If you like what you hear, subscribe to our podcast. Or if you like what you heard, since it's over now, subscribe to our podcast. And if you really feel compelled, write a review. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMc to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.